Andy Hinchcliffe and Gary Weaver.
One swing of a boot, one movement of a head, one magical moment away from Wembley. It's all come down to this. Let's take a check on the teams, and Leyton Orient feel they should be taking a lead into this game, so no real surgery needed from the first leg. The one change Russell Slade has made is bringing in Lloyd James, who did make an impact when he came on Saturday, so he elbows John Lundstrom out of the team. David Mooney and Kevin Lisby have 39 goals between them so far this season, but they aren't the only threats in this Leyton Orient team. Dean Cox and Moses Odebajo can do plenty of damage. Odebajo scored the equaliser on Saturday. One personnel change for Peterborough, but a tactical change too. Nathaniel Knight-Percival, who played here when Posh won in February, comes in again at centre-half. Craig Alcock, who played in that position on Saturday, moves to left-back to try and stop Moses Odebajo. Britta Sombalonga, League One's most feared hitman, was always going to have a say in the playoffs, and he made himself heard at London Road with his 33rd goal of the season. He's supported by Nicky Ajose, who's enjoying his football again after struggling for the first few years at Peterborough. Orient's Sean Batt was a threat when he came on against his old club on Saturday. He starts on the bench again. Just like Saturday, Peterborough have plenty of firepower ready to be called upon, including Connor Washington and Lloyd Isgrove. So one big change by Peterborough, and that's moving Craig Alcock across to left-back to look after this man.
Absolutely. Moses Odebajo is a nightmare for defenders. He's direct, he's very quick, and he has the ability to go inside or outside fullbacks, and that spells major trouble for the Peterborough left-back Craig Alcock tonight. He's been switched to left-back to try and combat Adebajo's threat. He has to curb his own attacking instincts, not get too worried about getting over the halfway line. His most important job is stopping Moses Odebajo.
Well, he's got plenty of pace about him, Craig Alcock, to try and keep tabs on Moses Odebajo. Two captains, Tommy Rowe and Nathan Clark. It could be a family affair at Wembley if Leyton Orient make it with Nathan Clark and Preston make it with his younger brother Tom.
Oh, absolutely, this has really the potential to be an absolute cracker. One stat for you, these two sides this season have scored 159 goals. They play on the front foot. I think we'll see that tonight as well. Both sides are going to be desperately keen to win this game, of course, to get to Wembley, but their instincts are to play good, attacking, flowing football.
That pitch out there is pitch perfect. Perfect canvas to paint their patterns on here for both teams who do like to play football. And we are almost ready to go, and this place has been bouncing for the last hour or so.
Well, the atmosphere is electric. Fans really up for this one. The pitch at London Road wasn't great, but you're absolutely right. Great surface here again. It should encourage two really good teams to get the ball down and play.
Wembley is waiting. Time to write memories to cherish. 90 minutes for the dream to live on, or 90 minutes for 9 months' work to be undone. Tears will be shed here tonight. Journey's end for one, possibly the start of a wonderful adventure for the other.
Yeah, if we see the results in the League One playoffs so far, both games locked at 1-1. It was always going to be tight with the sides in these playoffs, and Russell Slade knows how tight this game was always going to be. They've had a fantastic season, looking to crown that, getting to Wembley and, of course, getting to League One.
Peterborough will come here to play. Wherever they go, they play the same way. They go looking for teams. Entertainment is usually guaranteed with a ticket to see Peterborough. Odebajo looking to try and offer a threat, just as he did at London Road on Saturday.
Well, Orient expect to start quickly. They'll try and get the ball into the feet of Mooney and Lisby. As we saw there, they will try and turn the Peterborough back four as well.
Long throw from Scott Cuthbert, and Peterborough almost caught out. Alejnik, there's chaos down inside a 6-yard area, but Alejnik somehow has hung on.
It's most unlike Bobby Alejnik, maybe just a sign of nerves here. He's saying there was no real shout, felt he had to come off his line to try and claim this, and just simply wasn't the cleanest catch. Did he collide with one of his own players? I think that's exactly what happens. I'll tell you what, Mark Little does really well. I don't think he handles the ball, but he just smothers it, and that stops Orient turning it goalwards. Not convincing at all from Bobby Alejnik, who was outstanding in the first leg.
First major incident of this game. Here come Leyton Orient again. Moses Odebajo. This is Roman Vansalo. Lisby flicking the ball on and looking for Cox. Orient looking lively already. Alcock goes down quickly by Dean Cox.
There's a lot to admire this season from Leyton Orient. They play great football, they score bags of goals, but they have a real appetite for the game as well. And they started this match very quickly, not allowing Peterborough comfortable possession at the back. That's why they picked up this free kick.
Dean Cox standing over it. He came second in the list of assists in League One this season, and he's lining this up. Not the best.
It's a terrible ball and just going for too much power. Just got to feel that in with the instep, put a bit of pace on it, but put it into the right area. Don't go for power.
Nathan Clark on the launch pad here for Orient, in towards that near post. Peterborough really up against it at the start here. Chance to try and relieve some of the pressure. Swanson tackled heavily.
Britta Sombalonga, of course, steals all the headlines for Peterborough, but Danny Swanson was really impressing him in the first leg, and the Peterborough to prevail here, they need a Sombalonga to score the goals, of course, but they need Danny Swanson to be that creative spark.
Challenge well won by Dean Cox. Here's Omazusi. James with the flick, looking for Lisby. Now it's Vansalo on the Badjo. Oh, Vansalo once more. Lovely touch from Mooney, who then thought he was flawed, but the referee, who is Mick Russell, thought otherwise.
David Mooney realises just overcut this slightly, flicks it over the defender's head. He knows the ball is going to run out of play and decides to chuck himself to the ground to try and kid the referee. The referee was spot on not to give the foul.
He wasn't a fan's favourite when he first arrived on the scene at Leyton Orient, David Mooney, but he's turned those opinions around.
Well, I think what we've seen already in terms of the way Leyton Orient are going forward, there's a flexibility to their attack. We're seeing David Mooney break into wide areas as we did there. Dean Cox will come off that left-hand side and go and join in as well. It's very hard for the Peterborough back four. If they don't communicate properly, one of those players will get into space and cause you a threat.
Lisby. Here's the French midfielder, Roman Vansalo, looking for Kevin Lisby again. But tidying up by Baldwin, who came scurrying across.
There's brilliant cover from Jack Baldwin. Talks about the communication at the back for Peterborough with Knight Percival in there. Alongside Jack Baldwin, they really do need to communicate the two centre-halves, and Jack Baldwin just bails out his teammate there. That's a brilliant challenge on the cover.
Cuthbert's cross. Kevin Lisby going for the spectacular.
It's been a whirlwind start from the home side. Peterborough can't get out of their own half. I think Darren Ferguson will be pleased if his side don't concede in this opening 10-minute spell, because Orient are flying.
He's been getting into his players' minds, Russell Slade. He's put posters up around the Orient camp with pictures of championship stadiums, one being Fulham, and League One grounds, with the words, "Where do you want to be?" The answer is obvious, but getting up to the championship is not easy. They started well enough here. They felt they should have left London Road with the advantage on Saturday. They were the better team over the 90 minutes. Both teams went after each other, and Orient could easily have scored a couple more. Peterborough looking to make their presence felt. Charging run by Swanson. There's Britta Sombalonga. Tommy Rowe. And deflected wide as Jack Payne took aim.
Well, Peterborough will be pleased. They've finally got a bit of a foothold in the game. Just their key men, Swanson, Sombalonga, get involved. Just can't control it quick enough, Britta Sombalonga. It's a decent opportunity in the end, but it's just slightly scuffed.
Danny Swanson to deliver here for Peterborough. Jones came for it, didn't get near it.
See nervous goalkeeping at both ends of the field with Olejnik, now with Jones. It's a quality ball in. Danny Swanson from set pieces, he is so effective, and the keeper is never going to get to that ball. Just stay on your line, let your defenders deal with it.
Susi looking for Dean Cox. Mark Little in quickly. That will be a key battle, just as it was in the first leg. Mark Little once more. Bostwick to Payne. Alcock. Jose. Alcock once more. Peterborough just beginning to find their feet. Alcock. The ball to Tommy Rowe Happy.
Yeah, they're not exactly going anywhere, Peterborough, but it just takes the sting out of the game if you can get hold of the ball. Just start knocking it around. It's a whirlwind start from Orient, and Peterborough needed to get on the ball, and they've done well the last couple of minutes or so.
Cuthbert. Won by Moses Onabajo, but tidying up was Knight Percival. Omazusi in strongly on Swanson.
It's going to be competitive out there tonight. Some very good technical players, but defenders up against good technical players have to try and get close. That, to me, seemed a foul.
Let's make the clock. Defending by Knight Percival, just let Kevin Lisby know he was there. Promotion was always the aim for Peterborough this season, no matter how it was achieved. The playoffs hold no fear for them. History tells us when Peterborough reach the playoffs, they win the playoffs, they win promotion, they hold their nerve. 3 times they've been here, 3 times they have succeeded in going up.
We've seen this season they haven't had the consistency really to challenge for an automatic promotion spot. Probably always knew it was going to be about the players, but on their day, they're pretty much a cup side. We saw that in the Johnson's Paint Trophy. On their day, they can turn anybody over.
That's on Malonga. Swanson, Little on the move on that far side. He is quick, but unable to catch up with that. There we see the threat of Peterborough down there right with Mark Little.
Yeah, at times their midfield will be fairly narrow, and that will encourage the 2 fullbacks from Peterborough to break forward. Craig Alcock will be worried about Ozabajo, but I think Mark Little can push forward. We saw it in the first leg, and he can supply real quality as well down that right flank.
Yeah, what we did see in that first leg was Peterborough's first goal when Danny Swanson came inside, was followed by Omazusi, which left a space for Mark Little, who created that goal for Peterborough United. And Leyton Orient's management duo of Russell Slade and Kevin Nugent have admitted that they didn't cover those runs too well in that game.
Modern fullbacks do provide the width for lots of sides now, and it's just the intelligence of Swanson just drifting infield, knowing that Little is looking to get on the outside and provide that width.
It's Mooney was dipping. Well, everything he strikes, particularly at the start of the season, normally found the back of the net.
David Mooney, 21 goals this season. He's not going to pass up any opportunity, no matter how difficult. Some distance on the angle, very nearly gets that to dip enough. He knew this time was going to be tight. He saw that in the first leg, very open but very tight. It's been an even Stephen start of this second leg as well.
Cuthbert's header. Dean Cox, Mooney couldn't quite welcome it in, and on the cover was Little. ...205 goals between these two teams this season. They both go looking for the opposition. Neither has held back in the 101 minutes we've had so far of these two contesting this playoff semi-final.
Peterborough a little bit lucky there. David Mooney couldn't quite get the ball under his spell. So important that Peterborough back four players are a real unit. If they get disjointed, the lack of communication, the firepower that Orient have, they will get in behind them.
And so the furthest forward this time. Mike Percival's header drops to Lisby. Lisby just about holds off Baldwin. There's James. Mooney. There's Dean Cox. Dean Cox once more. Space here for Omazusi to try and measure this. Big shot for Bobby Olejnik.
There's a decent ball in the keeper as well. He reads where the ball is going to come to, and Kevin Lisby slightly on his heels. Didn't see where that ball was going to land. There's a chance there to get across the keeper.
Lisby. Greg Alcock, hunted down by Moses Onabacho. Cuthbert. There's Lisby. Mickey Ajose. Tommy Swanson again stepping in from the wide areas. Tommy Rowe. Payne. This is Alcock. Little. Mickey Ajose. Alcock. Peterborough just trying to move Leyton Orient around, trying to find a gap.
Well, they're playing 1 and 2 touch football, and when you do that, it's very hard for the opposition to get close to you and win the ball back.
Payne and Boswick. Leyton Orient are the club from East London, which has always had a hard luck story to tell, but maybe in a couple of hours this place will be smiling like it hasn't smiled in a generation. They haven't been in the second tier of English football since the early 80s. Mixing it with the likes of Chelsea and Newcastle. Swanson giving Omazusi the slip. There's Little looking to use his pace. A Sombalonga in the middle.
A fantastic outlet down the right-hand side for Peterborough. Danny Swanson and Mark Little, both athletic, both very quick. Both determined to get forward as quickly as possible.
Lisby looking to try and make something of this. Likewise at the other end, Britt Assombalonga. He was offside.
Swanson is a very good technical footballer. He's got great awareness of what's around him. Every time he picks the ball up, he knows that Mark Little is going to be steaming forward down that right-hand side. It's just very difficult when you're moving at that kind of pace. Deliver a quality cross, just struggle to keep that ball in play.
Mattia Baudry. There's a Jose, bit of space for Boswick. Now Payne, who was caught by Mooney. Boswick. We've seen both sides of the playoffs. Success and defeat with Stevenage. Boswick. This is Mark Little.
This is really good stuff from Peterborough, just taking the sting out of the game, quieting the crowd, just keeping possession well. Orient chasing around, trying to get it back, but playing a good technical game here, Peterborough, just knocking it around, not necessarily going forward very quickly. They don't have to. You've got to be patient tonight.
Boswick. Zusi didn't go for it, Clark did. Now Danny Swanson. He's been a key man for Peterborough since the turn of the year. Baldwin holding off Kevin Lisby and doing well. Really highly rated Jack Baldwin. He cost £500,000 in January from Hartlepool. Player that can read the game. He's good with both feet. Alcock doing well with his feet. There's Tommy Rowe. Rowe with the shot. Manslow didn't really let him out of his sight.
It's a bit of a daisy cutter. We've not seen a lot of Tommy Rowe in the game so far, but he has a decent left foot. A slight block on the shot as well. It's going wide, but Jamie Jones downs on it just to make absolutely sure. But Tommy Rowe is a player that can grab a goal as well. We talk about Sombalonga and Swanson being key. Rowe is an important man for the away side too.
Sombalonga.
Well, after the first 5 minutes of the game, Darren Ferguson would have been desperate for his team to get hold of the ball and just take the sting out of the match, and they've done exactly that.
Well, the storm came from the off, but they've chased that storm away for now. His business is promotion. He's made a living out of it. The man who has Leyton Orient in his heart and soul. His intervention in 1995 saved the club from going to the wall. And he's the man who could be seeing his club walking out at Wembley. Baldwin. Now the rain is back. And they have the Palmer box in every corner of this ground. Buy one of those. Well, let's get a season ticket here.
I tell you what, the rain has followed me around these clubs. It's unbelievable, from York to Burton to Queen's Park Rangers to Leyton Orient and the Jinx.
Where are you next?
I'm not telling you, just in case.
There's Tommy Rowe. Mathieu Baudry. Pumping header by Alcock into the back of Roman Vansalo. And the Sombalonga thought he was caught. The referee having to keep an eye on two incidents there.
It's a nasty one for Vansalo, but it's not a foul from Craig Alcock. Jumps early and wins the ball. Vansalo doesn't see him coming, crashes into him, but thankfully he's on his feet. Looks a bit groggy. Hopefully he'll be okay.
Moses Onabajo. Mooney. Vansalo. Mooney wants it back. Vansalo tried to slip it through to Lisby.
Really good defending from Nathaniel Knight-Percival there. He just appreciated where the forward pass was going to be played, and it's so important for young defenders, reading the game. It's not all about making flying challenges, it's reading the game and intercepting at the right time.
There's Nicky Jose. Tried to take it on. Really has found his spark again, Nicky Jose, after a loan spell at Swindon. He scored 10 goals in 21 games. Now got his feet under the table at Peterborough United. Beaudry. Odebajo. There's James. Lisby. Now Mooney. Space here for Dean Cox. He'll try and cut in onto his right foot. Cox with the cross.
Oh, it was a fabulous build-up. It's what Leyton Orient have been around about all season, really. Just move that ball so quickly. Players popping up in different areas, getting it into wide areas, and most importantly, getting decent crosses in. It's just not an easy header here for Kevin Lisby. He's on the stretch, under pressure as well. Looking to head that back across goal. Not easy at all.
Only Bakary Sakho created more goals in League One this season than Dean Cox. He is the man that makes things happen for Leyton Orient.
And the great thing for the two strikers is that when Dean Cox gets the ball, it's basically out of his feet and then he delivers. There's no doubt that that cross is coming in, and normally it's quality.
Nicky Jose. There's Little. Danny Swanson matched stride for stride by Omazusi. Payne. Little again showing his pace and good awareness. There's Payne. Payne sliding in to win the ball back. Now it's Alcock.
Slightly different approaches from both sides. There's more incisiveness from Leyton Orient, and patient from Peterborough, looking to break down the red wall.
The Peterborough promotion is a must. For Leyton Orient, it's a dream. A long throw this time from Clark, but he's found Vansilo. Vansilo's delivery, it was inviting, and it's shuffled behind by Tommy Rowe.
Oh, Vansilo won't be happy here because his teammates basically stand still. They don't expect him to produce a fabulous cross with his left foot. That is a peach of a ball in, and surely somebody's got to be taking a chance and trying to get on the end of a ball in like that.
Well, that had danger written all over it, but no takers for Leyton Orient. Into a dangerous area again, and Lisby was flinging himself at it. Otherwise, a Sombalonga who is useful, very useful in both boxes. Dean Cox with the corner again. Doesn't beat the first man this time, but he will get another chance.
It's a really poor header, actually. Defensive header from Jack Payne has given away another very cheap corner here.
Clark is trying to make life awkward for Bobby Olejnik. Dean Cox to try his luck again here. Deeper this time, was looking for Cuthbert. Again, Sombalonga doing the defending, and Peterborough get the free kick.
And you see what a team player Britt Sombalonga is. He scored 33 goals this season, but he's willing to get back into his own 6-yard box and play pretty much as like a centre-half here. He's brave. Gets up and makes it a really tidy clearance. Has fouled as well. He's certainly had a fantastic season.
Quite a laid-back character as well, British Sombalonga. Doesn't take the game home with him, he can switch off. He has been lethal this season.
I was talking to Darren Ferguson about him before the game and saying, is it just about his goals? And he says, no, he's a young man, only 21 years old, and can certainly improve. He is a very good all-round player. We've just seen that.
Hey, linesman, how the fuck can you give a corn?
Jose, seen off by Clark. Baldwin. There's Vancelo.
The thing you notice about Leyton Orient when they're going forward, if they can play forward, they do. They don't want to play square and just keep possession for the sake of it. Every opportunity they get, whatever player is in possession, wherever he is on the field, they look to play forward, and that all stems from the philosophy of that man.
You may have heard him say he's not looking forward to penalties should it go that far. That's because they've missed 50% of their spot kicks, almost 50% this season. Missed 5 of 11. So they've been practicing them, but it hasn't been going well. So he will want this done in 90 minutes or extra time.
We see the competitive edge to the game. A late challenge from Nathan Clark, looking at the ball but clearly playing the man.
Nice personal. Peterborough United have been a shining light in the Football League, the way they play. They take their fans through the whole range of emotions. Every match day is an adventure, a stroll into the unknown. There are 1,500 here in the East End of London, making themselves heard.
Yeah, when you watch Peterborough United, certainly this season, and seasons gone by, certainly under Darren Ferguson, they are real entertainers. It's not an easy side to watch if you're a Peterborough fan. You are on the edge of your seat, but an entertaining side.
1,500 here, plenty more watching back at London Road. There's Baudry. Payne. Rowe gets to it. Now it's Swanson. Jose looking for Tommy Rowe. It almost came off for them.
Just looking for that final touch of quality, that final killer ball, just to open up one or other defence and really get this game going. Craig Alcock is going to get very, very close to Moses Odebaji wherever he is on the field. It's a little too close on that occasion.
Certainly for Leyton Orient, looks like it may well be Mathieu Baudry who's down. Indeed it is, the French defender. They need some attention.
It's pretty clear he has a problem with that right knee, whether it's an impact injury or a twist. We'll have to wait and see. If it's just a knock, he might be able to run it off. And Russell Slade will be hoping he can continue. The last thing he will want to do is disrupt his back four.
Well, it's always been a steady starting 11 here this season at Leyton Orient. Hasn't changed too much around, hasn't been able to change too much around. Small budget here.
I think we've seen a similar thing at Burnley really as well. If you have a small squad and you manage it well, you can get through a season and be very successful. You don't need bags of options to do really well, regardless of the league you're playing in.
They're enjoying themselves so far, the Peterborough United fans. They believe they've done this before 3 years ago in the playoffs under Darren Ferguson.
Well, if they're this excited when it's 0-0, it'll be amazing to see what happens if they score.
You have happy memories of playing here this season, having won 2-1 back in February. Both games this season in the regulation league campaign were won by the away team. tremendous atmosphere we have in this game here. It's the Football League on the main stage, showcasing the talent, its clubs, their fans. Nowhere else in the world do you get this kind of passion, the tribalism, the feelings for clubs below the top two tiers, as you do in the English Football League. That's why those potential plans of Premier League clubs having B teams in the Football League, such a hot topic right now. Cuthbert. Jose. Mark Little.
Just over half an hour played, and it couldn't be tighter, could it?
Nice touch from Assombalonga. Didn't actually finish as the league's leading scorer. That honour went to Sam Baldock of Bristol City, which is quite some achievement, and it was to begin with, in particular, a struggling team. Baldock finished on 24, Assombalonga on 23, but all competitions Assombalonga has amassed 33 goals this season.
He's the only Peterborough player actually in double figures. You look at Leyton Orient, they've got 4.
Off the back of Mike Percival, more luck than judgment.
And that's one thing that simply can't happen. You can't turn your back on a ball like that with Kevin Lisby right on your shoulder. You need to be at least square on, possibly side on, and you need to be able to react very quickly. If he misses that ball, Lisby is clean through.
Jose's touch has been to Assombalonga, who does pack a punch with that right boot.
Well, the fact he's on a fairly narrow angle here. That's why he decides to go for power. The shot is maybe slightly straighter. He can possibly place it. He's just looking to blast this past Jamie Jones. And that's good movement. Britt Assombalonga will get away from centre-halves, open chances up for himself. Well, the sides are certainly giving it a go, aren't they? We expected this. Unfortunately, now the keeper has had a save to make.
And we just had that one skirmish in the opening minutes. Bobby Olejnik just about managed to hold onto the ball in the Peterborough penalty area under immense pressure and helped out by Little.
Tonight, certainly the forward passing has to be spot on. The rain really tumbling down, the surface getting very greasy. If you overhit a ball and it hits the turf, it's just going to run away from your teammates.
Really tried to get to that ball, but was held off by Mike Percival. Really back on his feet now and moving for the ball as Baldwin wins the header. Vansalo, there's Omazusi. Premier League experience with Fulham. That's Lloyd James, and Olejnik called into action.
It's a fabulous strike. I don't think Bobby Olejnik sees this until pretty late. It should be a relatively comfortable save because it comes from such a long way out, but it's coming through bodies as well. It's moving, and that's an excellent stop. The keeper can't take any chances. He's not going to catch this. He's just got to palm it away. It's a good stop.
More could be coming his way here. Cox with the corner. Again, it's Assombalonga who gets to it. He just seems to know where to be. James. Ozri stay forward here. Putting the ball out was Baldwin. Assombalonga, now the break could be on with Swanson. Jose trying to hold his run. And it comes to nothing, and Swanson has stayed down here.
Well, Nathan Clark just collided with Danny Swanson there. I'm not sure it was a foul, but Peterborough not happy.
Challenged by Baldwin, he took everything there. Meantime, Danny Swanson still struggling.
Just looking to counter-attack. Britta Sombolonga helps it on. Danny Swanson's on the move. Just gets a arm in the ribs there. Just maybe knocks the wind out of him. Struggling to regain his breath.
Payne in pain right now. Took a sore one on Saturday, which led to the end of his game.
I think Swanson's saying to the referee, OK, you might not have seen it, but surely your assistant on that far side should have picked it up, the stray arm from Nathan Clark.
We're down to 10 for now, with Payne off the pitch. Olejnik comes for this, and Olejnik has dropped it under pressure. Mooney flashes the ball across the goal. That's twice Bobby Olejnik has come for a high ball, and twice he has not been convincing at all.
It's a very difficult night, a greasy ball, and if the keeper doesn't get it right, not confident enough to come and collect it. Should be a relatively straightforward catch, just snatches at it, David Mooney, when it breaks to him, but that should be a comfortable catch. Made a real mess of it, and he is fortunate to get away with it.
He was excellent in the first leg at London Road on Saturday, but for him, Leyton Orient would have taken a lead into this game. I think his problems tonight, though. Barcelona. Odebacho. Rooney backing into Alcock. Now Kevin Lisby being held by Nat Percival, who just about did enough. There's Dean Cox.
Well, you have to win the battle to win the war, and it's certainly getting lively out there. The challenges are flying in. All the players realise how tight this game is going to be, and they want to fly into those challenges, try and win the ball back as quickly as they possibly can.
Lisby rising high.
Lisby times his jump so well. He's big and powerful. He does bully centre halves. At times just gets up very early there. Just the pace on the header gets away from Mooney.
35 years of age, but there aren't too many miles on the clock in terms of appearances. Didn't play that often at Charlton during his 8-year spell. It's his best goals return this season, 18 of his career.
He's been out for a while with injury, but looks as though he's put on a bit of bulk as well. Looks very strong, fit and quick.
Cuthbert. There's James. Odebacho. Boswick. Danny Swanson. Now with Jose. Jack Payne. Tommy Rowe. Peterborough's wide men coming in from those wide areas and trying to make life awkward for Leyton Orient. Lisby again, rising high, but no one near him. The playoffs continue exclusively on Sky Sports. Fleetwood against York City, Friday 7:30. Sky Sports 1 from Highbury. Fleetwood taking a one-goal lead into that. Burton taking a one-goal lead into this. Roots Hall, Southend against Burton. League 2, Saturday midday, Sky Sports 1. Zusi. That's run a long way on the Zusi, then he finds Lisby. Now Zusi is out of position. And there's Danny Swanson. Alcock. Percival. Payne. Into the final 2 minutes of the first half, Leyton Orient started so well, but Peterborough managed to just about keep them at arm's length and took the sting out of Leyton Orient.
It's just noticeable the two different approaches. Very patient from the away side. Every time Leyton Orient get the ball back, they play forward very quickly at high tempo. So interesting to see which approach will come out on top.
Beaudry. That's Payne. Now Tommy Rowe. There's Britta Sommerlonger. One thing Leyton Orient don't want is him running at you. Alcock. Zusi's headed into a dangerous area. Almost pounced upon by Tommy Rowe. Points separated these two. At the end of the season, Leyton Orient led the way for so long. Just run out of steam in the end. In the end, you would say it went to form with Wolves and Brentford being promoted automatically. Who will follow them?
I think you look at the squads that Wolves and Brentford had. That strength in depth, which possibly Orient don't have. Giving the ball away cheaply here.
Well, the sloppy from James. Sommerlonger. Now Swanson. Peterborough don't make the most of it, but they may get another chance here. Cuthbert. Odebajo. Stopped by Alcock. That's what he was put on Odebajo to do tonight. Lisby, strong on play. Odebajo. Lisby will have to chase. Lisby gets away from Alcock. Kevin Lisby. Alcock backed up by Knight Percival.
Oh, we know there's bags of attacking talent out there. We're just struggling really for that bit of creativity, just to open up one of the defences. Just perseverance here from Kevin Lisby. Good defending again from Knight Percival, coming across, reading the danger, making an important block.
Cuthbert with the throw-in. Dean Cox didn't catch hold of that. He's scored some beauties this season. Jose Feld.
Normally Dean Cox has fantastic technique. He had a couple of yards of space there, just needed to make a decent connection on that opportunity, and he passed it up.
Oh, such a big prize. Well, Peterborough United want to see the back of League One as soon as possible. A return to this division wasn't in the script. Their attendances have dropped, as has the interest in the club from its city, according to the chairman. They need to get that spark back. And this game has to be settled tonight. 1-1 on aggregate, 0-0 on the night, extra time and penalties if needed.
Well, the longer the game goes on, the more the nerves are going to kick in. I'm just hoping tonight we get a bit of brilliance to settle this tie and not a mistake.
There's Little. Knight Percival. Now Nicky Jose, dropping between the lines again. Lisby giving chase. Likewise Baldwin. There's Cox. Dean Cox again, he's trying to pick out his fellow wide man in Moses Odebajo, and Leyton Orient forced the first corner of the second half.
I think the home side will be fairly happy with this. Mooney and Lisby were both out of the penalty area when this ball is thrown in. Odebajo has plenty of attacking abilities, but heading is probably not one of them, and he'll settle for the corner off Alcott.
They've only failed to score 7 times this season, Leyton Orient. They normally find the back of the net, as do Peterborough. Fired in flat. Dealt with by Lejnik, he wasn't taking any chances that time. It's back in, Cuthbert looking to do something with it. Boswick. Leyton Orient looking to start the second half in the similar manner as they did to the first. A Jose, lovely ball for Swanson, and Sombalonga's at the far post, and Danny Swanson gets it all wrong.
Well, this is quite remarkable. One player that Peterborough wanted in this type of area is Danny Swanson with his quality. Usually so reliable with his technique as well. Great movement off the ball. The weight of the pass with Jose, perfect. He has a look at Sombalonga and I think just changes his mind. He thinks about crossing it. He's clearly trying to score from this angle, but that is, oh, it's awful, isn't it? Got to keep it on target from there.
He's a player who's had a wonderful 2014. He really has been Peterborough's star man since the turn of the year. And they were in, but they didn't make the most of it.
The chance come only just from a very simple piece of movement from Danny Swanson. A little give and go with Nicky Jose, and he was in behind the Orient defence.
This is Little. There's Swanson. Sombalonga. Danny Swanson again. Now Boswick.
We saw this in the first half, didn't we, Peterborough? In no hurry to play those forward balls, quite happy to keep possession and frustrate the home side.
Little. Tidied up by Clark. There's Alcott. First of all, unable to get to the ball, but he got to the man.
Well, the referee tried to play an advantage here. But eventually he's got to pull this back, and I'm not surprised really he's pulled out a yellow card for that challenge. It's not Knight Percival who goes flying in here. Jack Payne just sells himself slightly. Vansalo gets to the ball first, and that's a really clumsy challenge.
There's James, who tested Lejnik in that first half. Moses Odebajo trying to weave his magic. Boswick was not for moving. There's a Sombalonga, and the break could be on here, but Jose's offside.
Well, Leyton Orient have to be very careful. When they go forward, they push their 2 full-backs on. And at times it's 2 against 2 at the back, and Peterborough could easily have got in here. As the ball is played forward, I'm not absolutely convinced that that was offside.
Confirmation of that yellow card for Knight Percival. Orient this time caught offside. But Russell Slade admits it's difficult to try and pick which line you play against Peterborough. Do you go deep? Do you go high with the pace of British Sombalonga? They are relying on the assistants, getting everything absolutely spot on, and of course that didn't happen with Peterborough's first goal on Saturday.
I think both managers have a similar problem though. You can try and play one way and the opposition will break you down. You try and maybe close down out the pitch and they'll play in behind you. It's having that ability to be able to play in slightly different ways that cause the opposition so many problems.
Swanson. That's Baldwin, who did get out of this league last season, but the wrong way, was relegated with Hartlepool. Signed him from non-league football. He's back here not too far from home, born in Barking.
Apart from that challenge from Mike Percival, which he was booked for, I'm pretty impressed with the two centre-halves for Peterborough. Look very solid. There's been a good communication between the two of them as well.
James beaten to the punch, but he won it back. There's Little. Boswick. Now it's Vansalo. Odabacho on the run again. Alcock winning the battle.
And that's why Craig Alcock is in the side for his pace, as Odabacho looks to knock that ball past him and turn the afterburners on. Craig Alcock, a good defensive position. It's all about his pace. He's managed just to slide in and win that ball back.
Tommy Rowe driving forward.
Well, this is wildly optimistic. A hand up in apology there. He knows he should be just keeping possession. The game has been played really at 100 miles an hour, and both sets of players getting caught up in playing fast football rather than just steadying themselves and playing a bit of quality football.
Twice he's been through the playoffs. Twice he has won promotion. Once with Peterborough. He was a scorer in the final back in 2011. And they won promotion to the Championship. They have been here before, they've done it before. Lejnik was looking for a Sombalonga. Baudry taking charge. Cuthbert. There's Tommy Rowe. A Jose. Swanson. Peterborough right on Orient's doorstep again. What does Little have up his sleeve? There is almost a goal.
Oh, this is a whisker away. I thought he had no opportunity really of getting this ball through. There were so many Orient players around him. Just really positive play from the fullback, willing to push on to the edge of the opposition's penalty area and then just smash this goalwards. He probably just flicks the far post as well, very, very close to the opening goal.
Leyton Orient looking to try and move Peterborough around again, and Baldwin, when called upon, when asked a question, he's come up with the answer tonight.
Since the break, it's got very scrappy though. Neither side really in control of the match.
He's a cool, calm character, Darren Ferguson. There is ice in those veins when need be. He's always honest, held his hands up and admitted Orient were the better team on Saturday. He also knows it could have been much worse, and he knows his team can pull this off. They normally find the target in a one-off shootout.
He's pleased his dad's not here tonight. He sees him as a bit of a jinx every time Sir Alex comes along. Peterborough tend to struggle.
Yeah, 4 times Sir Alex has watched Peterborough this season. On each occasion, they've had a player sent off. So he's been told to stay away, but of course he and the rest of the family were in attendance at Wembley at the end of March when Peterborough won the Johnstone's Paint Trophy.
He did say that to Darren. He said it's because his mum came along to Wembley, that's why they managed to win out.
course, that's delighted. Percival has slipped, and it could be costly. He's just about managed to regain his balance. Lisby thought he was caught. Good challenge from Nathan Clark as Tommy Rowe tried to slalom his way through. I've seen a couple of slips like that in recent weeks that have been costly.
The rain has been really coming down, and as defenders, certainly on a night like this when it's so tight, don't take any risks, get the ball out of your feet and get it forward.
On a Bacho, straight at Lejnik. He worked it so well.
He's not been in the game an awful lot, Adebayo. He does well here just to work the opportunity to get the shot away. He's come in field to get involved in the game. It's good positioning by Lejnik. It's a poor strike in the end from Adebayo. He's falling away as he strikes it. Right down the keeper's throat.
Didn't expect to get anywhere near double figures in terms of goals this season, Moses Odebajo. But he's hit 11, including the equaliser at London Road at the weekend.
There's so much talked about Mooney and Lisby with their 39 goals, but you're right, Odebajo and Cox, the two wide players for Orient, have 26 goals between them. That's some going.
James. Odebajo, where's he going this time? Omazusi. Little heading the ball into a dangerous area. And Lisby spinning and going down. And he's got the free kick right on the edge of the box. But what was Mark Little doing?
No idea at all. Again, we talked about defenders possibly making mistakes, making critical errors, and what the right-back is doing here, heading this ball back across the edge of his own penalty area. It's certainly not a penalty, it's outside the box, but clumsy challenge from Knight Percival.
He's on a yellow, remember.
From this type of range, normally players go for power because it's so difficult to get the ball up and down from 18 yards. And they normally just try and blast this goalwards and see if the keeper can react quick enough.
Dean Cox, so often the man for Leyton Orient this season. We're happy that the kick is being delayed here as the referee tries to make sure that wall stays what it is and nothing else goes on. It's Beaudry who is standing next there to Jack Payne, and the wall has been moved back.
And what Beaudry's looking to do is get in the eye line of Bobby Lejnik, make it hard for the keeper to see the ball as Cox strikes it.
It's Dean Cox. Cox again! Pure joy at the realisation of how important that goal could be for his club and his career. This rising power in the East is on the march again, and they could be marching all the way to Wembley.
Well, it really is a fabulous finish from Dean Cox. He's picked up an injury and celebrating with his own supporters, but when this ball comes back to him, he could have panicked here and just thrashed this over the bar, but he's so composed, he adjusts himself so quickly. Great technique, he doesn't try and blast this ball. We saw it in the first half, he had an opportunity and went for power, but it is all about control, and that's what he shows here. It breaks back to him, he knows exactly what he wants to do, makes his mind up quickly, then it's about technique, keeping it down. And this could be an all-important opening goal.
He has scored some absolute beauties this season. That is right up there. How important could it be? Muted celebration for the manager. They are half an hour away from Wembley.
Well, Peterborough, we know, are a front foot side. Now they've got a goal behind, they've got to go chasing it. They will be even more dangerous.
What they can lean upon as well is the fact that they did fall behind here later than this earlier this season, back in February. and his team struck back with 2 late goals to win it.
You see the message there from Darren Ferguson. We've got half an hour. Let's not go silly. Let's not concede a second goal. That's the key thing now. We concede a second, we're really going to struggle. Let's just work our way back into the game.
Alcock's clearance, straight to James. It's Dean Cox again. He's in the mood now.
He's bound to be after opening the scoring. He's going to be shooting from absolutely everywhere. He's still trying to run off that injury he picked up. Has the ability, once he gets the ball out of his feet, to produce absolute peaches of finishes. Just trying to bend that into the top corner. Tight and cagey in this second leg, and it's proved to be an exciting attacking game that we wanted.
Comes that goal, goes back to that mistake from Mark Little, that header inside which put his team in trouble. Mike Percival then committing the foul, and Peterborough punished.
I wish like Orient are going for the jugular here. They're not sitting back and trying to hold out. Well, they scored the opening goal. They're looking for a second to really kill the game off.
Mansolo committing the foul. Well, we know about Leyton Orient's powers of recovery this season. When they've fallen behind this campaign, they've come back to win 6 games. Peterborough have done similar, and they've fallen behind. They've come back to win 5, so they've got the character. They won't panic. They just need to keep playing their football here, settle down, and then try and find a way through. Here's Payne, Boswick, Jose, Little, Tommy Rowe trying to trick his way through, but the door was slammed shut. There's Mooney. Beaudry. Mansolo looking for Odebaggio. Mike Percival across, being challenged, referee happy with it.
Mike Percival has been booked, so he's got to be very careful with his challenges and up against very quick players. He's got to be doubly sure that you're going to get to the ball first and not commit a foul. If he does, he could be off.
Mansolo. Alcock. Space here for Payne. Just managed to run off his man. Omazusi with the header away. Lovely touch that from Little.
He's playing it right back, trying to redeem himself possibly in many ways as well. But he's pushed forward on numerous occasions. Got his shots away, just gets excited here, gets into a good position, sits up nicely for him. Again, keep it down, keep it on target. You really do have to feel for Jack Baldwin, who is really brave. He's a fantastic block, but then 2 seconds later, he looks back and the ball is in the back of the net. He probably can't believe his luck.
Dean Cox is a player who says he's found his love for football again. He was released by Brighton by Gus Poyet 4 years ago. Like many of the players out there, he's really had to dig deep and fight for his career. Another standout moment and a special season for Dean Cox. Baldwin, Rowe, there's Alcock. There's Mark Little. Trying to pick out the runner, Swanson. Smashed away by Omazusi. Odebaggio, Kevin Lisby. Odebaggio unable to get to it. Just caught his man there. I think it was Jack Payne who made the challenge. A little bit tonight, Jack Payne.
Clearly seen in the second half, Leyton Orient to force Peterborough back. They've got that key opening goal in the game. Aaron Ferguson's side how to turn this around. They need to get the ball higher up the field, keep hold of it. Start asking questions of that Orient defence.
Beaudry intervening. Now he's out of position. Can Peterborough cash in? It's Tommy Rowe. On his defensive duties, has played right back a few times for Orient. Alcock. There's Boswick, who can strike them from distance, elected to try and link up with a Sombalonga.
Well, Peterborough have regained their composure, but they're really struggling to get it into their front two and keep hold of it.
They were almost in trouble again.
I'll tell you what, they're taking a big risk here, Peterborough. The two fullbacks, Little and Alcock, are playing virtually over the halfway line every time they go forward, and at times it's 2 against 2 at the back, and eventually, if Peterborough aren't careful, they're going to get caught out.
That's the way they play. It's risky football. It's entertaining football. That's what Peterborough have been known for in the last few years.
And I think that's a tactic, though. You wait maybe the last 10-15 minutes. I don't think Peterborough can afford to do it now. If they do concede a second goal, the tie is pretty much over.
Nicky Ajose.
This has been the major problem for Peterborough. They can't really get it far enough forward into the penalty area to get crosses in and give their strikers really decent opportunities. It's all shots from range. And really, that's just again, snatched at by Nicky Ajose. There's no composure there.
Well, it's the usual change here by Leyton Orient. Kevin Lisby has taken off once more. Leyton Orient trying to manage him. And this place rises to acclaim the former Premier League striker, who's done so much to get Leyton Orient to the doorstep of the Championship. Along comes Sean Batts, who came on and did make an impression when he entered the fray at London Road at the weekend. Once off Peterborough, signed by Darren Ferguson. Now he's looking to bring them down.
Well, this is a really sensible substitution. Sean Batts, remember him playing at Brentford, coming on as a substitute, scoring. So effective when Leyton Orient play on the counter. He's a big man, but he's deceptively quick as well.
Vansalo. Omazusi. There's Vansalo once more. Getting into the Championship could be life-changing for Leyton Orient. It's a club which is fearing for its future, with West Ham about to move on to its patch with the move to the Olympic Stadium. They're concerned what effect that might have on their future fan base. But having Championship football here on this patch of grass in East London would help attract more fans to this club. Little. A Sombalonga. Peterborough need him now more than ever. Sombalonga just had a nibble there at James. Looks like Leyton Orient are about to bring on very shortly Chris Dagnall, the Scouse striker.
And Chris Dagnall has 99 career goals, and if he were to get 100th, I think it pretty much settles the tie.
Cuthbert's header. Peterborough need to keep believing here. One last push. Tommy Rowe. by Beaudry. Alcock with the header. Holding back from Omazusi or Bostwick. Moved on by Bostwick, looking for a Sombalonga. That's Vancelo. Swanson. This is Payne.
There's been a tactical switch here by Darren Ferguson. Craig Alcock has gone from left back to right back.
But Leyton Orient could be in again here. Mooney, it's your bat! That goal could have had Wembley written all over it had he found the back of the net. But he was unable to deliver against his old club.
More time than he thought there. He could have taken a touch and then really made his mind up. Took the shot too early. Could have just waited.
You're right about the tactical change. Alcock to right back, Rowe to left back, and Little further forward.
That's exactly. He's been so effective, Mark Littleliff. Stuck him further forward on the right-hand side of midfield. I think that's a sensible move from the Peterborough manager.
Battle again between Bat and Baldwin.
He's only just come off the bench, Sean Bat, possibly a little bit rusty. They give possession away really cheaply here. I just think he could take a touch there, doesn't need to shoot as early as he does, trying to catch the keeper out, doesn't make a clean connection. You take it first time, you've got to bury it.
So the change being made, and off goes the goalscorer Dean Cox, who may well have picked up an injury. It's celebrating his goal in the melee that followed. And on comes Chris Dagnall.
Oh, Russell Slade maybe hasn't got too much choice in terms of having to make these changes. Possibly injuries to Cox and Lisby, or just maybe looking to give him a bit of a rest as well. But he does go to penalties, they're key men.
Onabajo. Ball has stayed in play. Russell Slade is going berserk down below us. Alcock intervening. Onabajo. 17 minutes for Peterborough to save their season. Onabajo. Doesn't lack confidence, Moses Onabajo. Calm head in the chaos.
It is about game management now for Orient. Of course they want a second goal to give them a bit more comfort. They really just need to keep hold of the ball for 5 minutes, frustrate Peterborough.
Onabajo, Omazusi, over the head of Mooney. Tommy Rowe is no stranger to left back, of course. Just about managing to win that duel.
Sean Bat has those telescopic legs and very nearly kept that in play as Tommy Rowe was looking just to push the ball over the dead ball line. Did he go out of play? We'll have a chance to see. See, he just puts his body in. And the ball is clearly out of play.
Well, Peterborough need a goal, they have to act, and they have to act now. Connor Washington, a striker who they signed for Newport County back in January. Trademark Peterborough signing, scored plenty of goals in non-league football. He comes on. Off goes Danny Swanson. And Lloyd Isgrove on loan from Southampton. He replaces Jack Payne. Isgrove, who can be a bundle of trouble. He's a bundle of energy.
Of course, there's a really positive substitution from Darren Ferguson. It's about getting these key players on, the players he wants to change the complexion of the game into the game. They struggled in the second half, Peterborough, to get their creative players, their attacking players on the ball.
Vancelo losing out to Nicky Achose. Nine months, hard work, through the long winter months, through the brutal weather in a brutal division. It could all be coming to an end right here on this pitch in the East End. Powers that be, looking on from up high, hoping, willing a goal for their club. Incidentally, this run that Leyton Orient have been on this season, I say run, the whole season, that form goes back to midway through last season. They've been so consistent. Last 17 games of the last campaign when they just missed out on the playoffs. Leading the way in Sky Bet League One this time around to the very end. James' shot deflected, and Lejnik had to be smart, but the flag was up. Jose. Little. Now it's Isgrove. Played in the same Southampton youth team as Luke Shaw and Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. Oh, almost got to that. Tommy Rowe does.
Just another example from Peterborough, playing forward balls and really giving teammates a chance of gaining possession high up the field. Everything is coming straight back at them.
He's calling for more help. He knows that Leyton Orient are standing on the brink of an incredible achievement. Still plenty to do. Need to see this game out, and then it's Wembley if they get there.
Yeah, this wouldn't have been the plan for Darren Ferguson, but he's got to throw everybody on now just to try and take this game to extra time.
Baldwin again, a steady, calm head at the back for Peterborough. Peterborough bundled out of the championship back door in heartbreaking fashion on the last day of last season. Crystal Palace scoring a late winner against them. It sent them down 54 points. Incredible. They were relegated with that amount of points last season. Is it to be more heartbreak a year on as Grant McCann prepares to come on?
I think this is a sensible change again. Grant McCann, 34 now, vastly experienced. He can control the tempo of a game in general play, also from set pieces, very handy, so that might be the route back into the game for Peterborough.
They are about to bow out Peterborough. What will pain Darren Ferguson most tonight is the fact that they haven't really tested Jamie Jones. There was that one cross shot from Mark Little which grazed the outside of the post. It's the end of the game for Nat Knight Percival. Goes the centre half. Down comes Grant McCann. And Boswick moves into the back four.
I wonder whether Peter might go to a back three, but you're right, Boswick has just dropped back from central midfield into the centre-half position. He's more than capable of playing there. But eventually Peterborough, going into the final 10 minutes, have to take a few risks.
Mooney looking for the run of Bats, who's offside.
Some really good movement from most of these Orient players, and he's nowhere near offside. As that ball is played, he's clearly onside. That's a poor decision.
Isgrove. Peterborough did win here back in February. They scored in the 88th and 90th minutes. There's Connor Washington. Now it's Little. Overcooks it.
There's a great challenge in there from Baudry, who just came across and blocked the shot from Assombalonga. We've hardly seen the Peterborough front man in this second half. build-up play, the link-up play is good. There's Baudry just stepping in at the right time to deny Britta Sombalonga. Mark Little, a real lack of quality, a wasted ball in.
Tommy Rowe. There's Vansilo. Hugely popular figure here. Wants to socialise with the fans in the supporters bar after a game. I think they may be buying him a few tonight if the score remains the same. Odabajo, a yellow card over that challenge.
Moses Odabajo, tackling is not really one of his strong points, goes chasing this. And actually just leaves his foot there, and that's nasty. He's in a good position to see this. There's no need for Odabajo to leave his foot there. You've got to have respect for your opponent, and that is a really poor challenge.
Well, that could have been a lot more than that yellow.
I think if you turn a challenge around like that, would Odabajo like a player to go through him like that? And of course he wouldn't, so why do you challenge like that?
He's made his 3 changes. Kevin Russell there, making his point to the referee after that challenge.
I think they might well be saying, is that not a red card? And I've got some sympathy with Darren Ferguson. There's no attempt at all from Odabajo to play the ball. He's clearly looking to put his foot through the defender.
Walcott with the header. Washington tried to get to it. What do Peterborough United have left in the tank at the end of a long, long season, which is just over 5 minutes away from ending, unless someone steps forward now?
Well, this is where Russell Slade has to work very hard, get the message onto his side, not to creep back towards the edge of their own box. That's the temptation when you 1-0 up with 6 or 7 minutes to play.
Feel the nerves around this place. Leyton Orient fans holding their breath. Peterborough fans urging their team forward for one last big effort.
There's bound to be nerves when you're ahead with such little time left in the game. We'd have to say in the second half, Peterborough certainly lack quality going forward.
Baldwin. There's Little. Fired forward again by Baldwin, looking for Alcock. This is Nicky Ajose who's offside.
It just goes slightly too early. It's a good climb at the far stick from Alcock as well to get above Cuthbert to nod this down. Is he offside? I'll tell you what, I think he's very unfortunate. Very unfortunate. Nathan Clark was possibly playing him on. It's been a very, very close game. Both sides giving as good as they're getting. It's all about working goalkeepers and taking the lead, and Leyton Orient have been better at doing that.
There's a Sombalonga. Britta Sombalonga flying into that challenge.
Well, I'm hoping this is just a full-blooded challenge from Britta Sombalonga. He's bound to be frustrated. He's hardly had a kick in the second half. Doesn't leave the ground. He's trying to play the ball, but I tell you what, he's absolutely flying into this challenge, and he must know he's going to catch Cuthbert.
Well, if Russell Slade's team manage to hang on to this and book a trip to Wembley, there'll be a party in one of those flats, because that's where he lives. Committed to his work. He takes his work home with him, because home is work. His team talks are legendary. spine-tingling at times. He's a great character. He's never won promotion. He's fallen at the playoff hurdle. Still one big game to go if they hold on to this.
It would be astonishing if Russell Slade were to take Orient into the Championship. We talk about Burnley making it to the Premier League with a small squad. Very similar situation for Orient if they made it.
Boswick. Peterborough need one key moment, and might come now with Washington. Almost found little. Leyton Orient hanging on a little. Looked like a foul by Dagnall.
Well, this is purely nerves. It's really nervy defending from Leyton Orient. I think in a regular league game, you clear your lines fairly comfortably there. And Peterborough broke forward, but it's just the nerves of the occasion. Defenders making really strange decisions.
It's Grove. A Jose. Is there a hero in blue? McCann. Foul, Vansalo, and Leyton Orient will take that all day long, although the referee's way play on. Bat on the charge. Onabajo in the middle and Dagnall. It's Chris Dagnall. Is this the moment? They are dreaming now. They are believing now. They are Wembley bound. Wembley Way will be painted red. These fans will line football's most famous road because they are heading to the League One playoff final.
It's goal number 100 for Chris Dagnall. He will never score a more important goal than this. This settles the tie, and you're absolutely right, sends Leyton Orient to Wembley. It's great refereeing actually to play the advantage, but look at this run from Sean Batt. Talk about desire, determination to get forward, and then balance and making the right decisions at the right times. He just delays the timing of his cross. A wonderful pullback. Chris Dagnall's first touch is decisive as well, just kills it stone dead. And then with the outside of his foot, puts it in the far corner. And with one stroke of his foot, he sends Leyton Orient to Wembley. What a finish.
He cost absolutely nothing from Bardsley in January. A goal which means the world to Leyton Orient. "90 seconds plus stoppage time. Surely there's no way back for Peterborough United. But you never know at this club."
So when David Mooney picked up that ball, he had Sean Batt screaming at him on his shoulder. Could have just kept the ball, David Mooney, tried to maybe run towards the corner flag, run down the clock. But Leyton Orient all season, it's about going forward and scoring goals, and that's why they've made it 2-0.
Plus there was the advantage played by the referee. I wondered whether Orient would rather take the free kick and waste a little bit of time.
I was just about to say they'd probably be happy, yeah, breaking up the rhythm of the game, and they could then see it out at 1-0. But their first thought, most of their players, when they get the ball, don't play square, play forward. Let's try and score more goals. You've got to admire them for that.
Can Peterborough give Orient a little tap on the shoulder here? It's McCann, it's too high.
Well, he's a long, long way out. He has a great left foot, Grant McCann. You have to really smash this ball to make it travel where you want it to go, but the important thing again, you've got to keep it on target. And Jamie Jones in this second half has had virtually nothing to deal with, and Darren Ferguson will be very disappointed with that.
This club, which has always been in the shadow of its Premier League neighbours, is roaring tonight as we head into 5 additional minutes.
The league game between these two sides here had a surprising twist in the last couple of minutes, but it'd be something quite extraordinary if Peterborough are to want this game to go into extra time.
They could be in again here. Flag is up.
Once again, you see that willingness of the Orient players to go forward. They're not just keeping hold of the ball here, they're in complete control of the tie. And David Mooney maybe just half a yard offside, but every time they get possession, wherever they are on the pitch, they're looking to play forward. And it is a fantastic philosophy that Russell Slade has with his club.
Clark with that header. Tommy Rowe trying to drive his way through. That's Washington! Now then! Suddenly everything changes!
Well, I wondered whether there was going to be a twist in the tail. Could we possibly have one here? We've seen stranger things. Actually, nothing has come Jamie Jones's way in this second half. And then finally, it's a scrappy bit of football, but when it breaks for Connor Washington, I kept mentioning it all night, hit the target. If the goalkeeper dives out of the way, you're going to score. That's what happens here. It's not the cleanest strike he'll ever make, but it's on target. Well, Peterborough able to retrieve this situation. It would be incredible if they could.
Well, he scored goal after goal in non-league football. I mentioned earlier, it's pretty much a trademark Peterborough United signing. Has a bit of Football League experience for Newport County. Player who reminds Darren Ferguson of Craig McHale-Smith. He has struck. He has given Peterborough hope. Sound of play from Nathan Clark. Could be an uncomfortable Wembley date for the Clark family if Tom makes it with Preston and Nathan makes it with Leyton Orient. Beaudry. There's McCann. Could this happen? A Jose's ball. Stretching was Cuthbert. Now it's Boswick. Bodies on the line, time for Orient. Foul on his Grove.
It's a silly challenge from Sean Batt. Goes chasing this, trying to win it back. Just stay on your feet. Don't give away cheap free kicks. Now everybody's going to come forward. Lejnik is up as well.
Forward goes the big Austrian. One season captured here now in the next 2 minutes. Fired in towards Lejnik. Cooper with the header. He's out of goal now, Lejnik. Mooney lost out.
Well, this chance falls to Jack Baldwin, and what Peterborough want is a centre forward or a creative midfielder to get on the ball in this type of situation. Not natural for a centre half to turn and strike this goalwards. You see he goes for power, slices wildly across it.
One more big moment needed for Peterborough. Dean Cox can barely watch. The blue wave is surging forward, but repelled there by Cuthbert. This is Boswick. Now it's Batt. He just needs to head for the corner. He slipped it through to Mooney. Well, the Badger wants it through the middle. We have a man over here with Dagnall.
And once again, David Mooney picks this ball up, and for me, I'll be turning and heading towards the corner flag. He's always looking to try and get a teammate into an attacking area. That's what he does here. David Mooney, just head for the corner flag, just run the clock down. But none of it. Picks out his teammate and wants to try and score a third.
Tommy Rowe rolls that off Cuthbert. It's a corner for Peterborough United. It's all down to this.
Peterborough's whole season hinges on this set piece.
And Lejnik forward again. And needs a perfect delivery. And Alcock came crashing in, but couldn't get over it.
He knows he should be burying this. It's a wonderful set piece. Craig Alcock, normally so reliable. He's in space as well. Actually comes off his knee. Maybe he doesn't see it so late, but if he gets his head on this, I think he certainly keeps this down. He probably scores.
One of English football's great stories could be happening. This could be happening. Little old Leyton Orient, the small club with a big heart from the East End, are into the League One playoff final. They have the chance to change the course of history for this football club. And the players are giving it all they've got. They have a date, a big date at Wembley.
Oh, it's been a fantastic tie. You have to feel sorry for Peterborough and Darren Ferguson. But what a story this is. We talked about Burnley getting to the Premier League. Leyton Orient, with the size of their squad, the quality of the sides in League One this season, their consistency has been amazing. They've got character, they've got quality, and they've got a chance to showcase their talents at Wembley. Preston or Rotherham, better beware.
They are writing memories to cherish, and Wembley is waiting for Leyton Orient. It was their home briefly in the 1930s. They are going back with a chance of going back to the second tier of English football.
Well, people talk about David Mooney, Kevin Lisbie being the catalyst to their success this season, but you have to look at Russell Slay, the job he's done with a small squad, the spirit that he's built at this club. It's about everybody pulling together, fans included, and that is pretty evident here. Fantastic scenes here, and Leyton Orient fully deserve their trip to Wembley. Can they get to the Championship?
Well, as for Peterborough United, it's ended in tears for them, but this Orient team are going to Wembley, the team that led the way for so long in League One, then just ran out of steam. They looked around and saw Wolves and Brentford overtake them. But here they are now in the playoff final, and Darren McAntony can only look and think, what if?
Absolutely, Peterborough. Well, the plan this season was to get back to the Championship. That's not happened. I think you ask any pundit who knows a lot about League One football, and he said Leyton Orient would get to the playoff final. You wouldn't have believed it looking at their manager, looking at the squad, the size and the finances here, but they've made it. It's all down to their character. Fantastic.
So Leyton Orient are into the final of the League One playoff at Wembley. An incredible night for this football